Sammy Baugh, though 36 years old and with 15 seasons of full competition behind him, gives no signs of nearing the end of his amazing career.
Art Monk is now number one, the most prolific pass receiver in the National Football League's history. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
This is Harry Hog Football, the original Redskins Fans podcast. On today's show, we talk about the roller coaster of a game between the Washington Redskins and the Denver Broncos. This and much, much more, live with Aaron and John. Yo, what's up, John?
What's up?
Excellent! Welcome, everybody. Harry Hog Football, episode 584, in which we may finally get it right, technically speaking.
It's always the sound. 500 and Gary Clark, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Some people want that guy in the Hall of Fame.
I like Gary Clark. I like me some Gary Clark.
Love Gary Clark, but man, he was the epitome of those 50-50 guys. He was the first person I ever heard of where people were constantly referring to him as 50-50.
Yeah.
But he was awesome. Part of the posse.
The posse. I love me some
Sanders,
posse, dude.
Monk.
The posse, they're my boys.
The posse.
The posse. Anyway, welcome everybody to the podcast, and it was
victory.
You couldn't have written a script that was more entertaining and with a lot of different storylines in it throughout that game. Oh my gosh.
What a complete. I mean, we were getting it handed to us. We were down 21-3 and we couldn't do anything. We couldn't do anything in that game. And then Jamin Davis suddenly pulled a rocket launcher and stuck it up his rear end and just shot across the field and got that fumble or made that fumble happen.
Yeah, well, I guess
you saw it. You know, Aaron and I talk on the phone a lot during the games, and Aaron saw it. We were just like, where did Jamin Davis come from?
There was another play where he chased down Russell Wilson, I believe, before that, when Russell Wilson was trying to escape and get around the corner, and he got him like by the shoestring, and I was like, "Whoa, where did he come from?"
Thank you for the hearts, Johnny Cassidy, on our I guess on our Discord page, but you can do that if you're on our YouTube page.
No, he's in YouTube.
Yeah, if you put in emojis, they will dance around on our screen.
Yeah. Shout out to those people that are in there right now: DJ Cool4, Chris Comerton, Da Buddha A.
DC Skins
finally getting to listen live.
He was at the game. DC Skins was at the game for 17 minutes. Sucked, no lie, dude.
Yeah, well, you know what? The first 17 minutes also sucked of Super Bowl 22, and apparently these Broncos didn't watch that and thought they had the game wrapped up. I, however, yours truly, knew we were coming back.
Yep, it was. Yeah, I think that Jamin Davis play was kind of like the Art Monk 4th and 23 play from Super Bowl 17, where it just kind of. Or sorry for Super Bowl 22 against the Broncos, where it was like, man, we really needed that. We needed 23, we got 24, let's go, and then we put up 35 in that quarter.
I love me some Art Monk.
While
I'm at it, I might as well say I love me some Ricky Sanders, and that's the whole posse.
Ricky Sanders.
Speaking of Art Monk,
celebrate. Oh yeah.
Celebrate.
Now I've got my Washington.
Oh my gosh! But on that play, dude, back to the Jamin Davis play or plays, because he had two great plays in this, and we're like, there's that speed that we've heard of.
There's that speed we've been hearing about since he got drafted.
But on that play where he caused the fumble, Chase Young, if you watch it again, he was wreaking some havoc over on the defensive left side of the line. I guess that's the right side officially. I don't know how they do that.
Right side.
But anyway,
of the offense.
Yeah, right side of the offense, left side of the defense. He was wreaking some havoc over there, which caused Russell Wilson to try to escape to his left, and Jamin Davis just,
he finally got there fat. Like Ron Rivera said, ever since we drafted this guy, he's fast. And we're all just like, we really haven't seen him be fast. Really, I mean, not really much of anything from him so far. So it's really nice to see him make some like good, positive, really game-changing plays.
Yeah.
GC Skins like still have my Doug Williams Wheaties box.
I have it too. I think you gave me that Wheaties box, didn't you?
I think I did. Yeah.
For Christmas one time. Yeah, I have it. I can't say I had it like during the Super Bowl and like kept it all those years, but John got me one.
We have all sorts of like random stuff when we were kids, Redskins type stuff.
Yeah, Suzanne tries to make me get rid of some of the like more lame stuff, but I would never get rid of my Wheaties box.
Aaron, why do you want to keep this Wheaties box?
It's Doug Williams is on it. Because Doug Williams is on it. Aaron, why do you have these socks like are framed in a shadow box signed by Joe Salavea? Anyway,
man.
Yeah, X Factor he's in the Discord room, and his best friend Johnny Cassidy is in the YouTube room. Yeah, he's pointing it out. There was one point in this game where I was telling you I'm giving Chase Young my kick in the balls award because he was getting some dumb penalties in dumb places. I think
he started out. He was only supposed to play like third downs at first, and then like the more he was involved, the more he just got involved with it.
Yeah, and early in the game, we're like, dude, just go. Either go through your dude because you're stronger and just pushing them straight back into the quarterback, or go inside. Every time he tries to go outside, it's just like, here, we'll escort you to the far goalpost while we have a play going this way, Mr. Young.
Yeah.
He has to go inside or just through his dude. He can't go to the outside. He doesn't have time to loop back around and hit the quarterback.
And apparently he kind of figured stuff out, because at the end of the game he had a pass deflection, I believe.
Hold on, I've got the stats right here.
Stats. And then of course, as you know, near the end of the game, he and Montez Sweat had themselves a Russell Wilson sandwich.
Let's see, who am I looking for? Chase Young. He had 3 total tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 1 tackle for a loss. But you know what's great here? Look at this stat. You see how many sacks we had in this game?
It was really refreshing to see 7 sacks. I can't remember the last time we had more than 2 or 3.
That's right, Will in Maryland. 7 sacks, and I can't remember the last time we had more than 2 or 3 either.
Yeah, really.
That was great to see, the sack count. Let's see, Sweat 1.5, Chase Young 1.5. So one of those halves were them. If that makes sense.
One was the sandwich.
One was the
dude,
one of those 3 total sacks was the sandwich, and then they had 1 each. And then 1 from Casey Toohill. Hello, dude. My name is Casey Toohill. One from William Smith, and 1 from a dude that just went beast mode in the beginning of the third quarter, Daron Payne. He went on there on that one series and it was just like, nope.
He stopped them all 3 downs in that series. And they had to punt by himself. It was unbelievable.
Like, dang, dude. That was great to see.
So far,
pumped.
Daron Payne is not Dana Stubblefield.
No, dude. I mean, like at the end of the first half, we could sense it, right? Like we came back and pulled within, what was it? What did we have?
Back to
11,
14.
We
made it 21-14 at the half.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
Because we had 2 field goals and we had the touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion. Yeah. So as soon as we did that and we clawed our way back into it and got within 1 score, I was like, dude, all we got to do is get a nice stop. We got the momentum. Get a nice stop at the beginning of the third quarter, and we're right back into this thing. And lo and behold, Deron Payne took that to heart. And he showed up. And then it was game over after that. I mean, except for that fluke play, because they like to try to give us heart attacks at the end of the game.
What in the hell was that? What the hey?
That was just sheer luck, dude. A, but B.
It was. Dudes, knock the ball down. Don't try to catch the ball. Knock the ball. I'll be coming back to this during my kicking the balls.
Before we get to that, I just want to say this, dude. We still need to work. We need to work on killing the clock management. Dudes are like,
yeah.
There was one time I remember they accepted a penalty that stopped the clock or something like that. Maybe that was last week. But in this game, during that last drive where we were literally just trying to not fumble the ball and run the clock as much as we could and then punt it, they were snapping the ball with like 5 seconds left. And I'm like, dude, snap it with no time left. 1 second. Going on 0. They give you like that beat, supposedly. Yeah, well, what happens is the ref looks down at his watch and then looks up at the clock. And then, you know how they always say that?
It gives them at least a second, and they still don't get it every time. So
yeah, and I'm like, why are you snapping it with 5 seconds left? And guess how many seconds were left on the clock when dude threw that Hail Mary? 3. 3. The game should have been over.
Yeah, and they had that stunning catch. And then we stopped them on the 2-point conversion. I know there are a lot of Broncos fans online that were very bitter because they thought it was pass interference. It didn't really look like interference to me because, every time you watch it in slow motion, everything looks like interference for like 5 seconds. But when you put it in regular motion, he may have touched him like right beforehand. But then again, I remember the game against, the Giants last year where we just got mauled in the end zone and they did not call a pass interference for that play either. And we lost that game. So,
yeah, plus they weren't going to let you guys get that anyway, Denver Broncos, after your dudes cheat and try to kill our player.
That's what I was going to say. Dude, that's what I was going to say. Let's come back to that in a minute because we need to talk about that dude.
That dude should be...
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about that, and hopefully we'll come back to what else I wanted to talk about.
With all whatever you want,
so dude. That dude got fined, but he's not getting suspended. And this is the second week in a row he's had one of those egregious hits, and this is the first game he got kicked out of.
What's the reason for not suspending him? Because that was like textbook. This is what the referees show the rookies coming in of what not to do. That
exactly.
Was textbook.
Yeah, and you know who's out and who hasn't practiced all week? Logan Thomas. You know why? Because he got a concussion because that jerk decided to do what he did.
You know what? Well, so basically, if you look at it that way, our dude is missing games because of this guy's you-know-whatedness. And he gets off scot-free with just paying like a $10,000 fine or whatever it is. I have no idea.
Second game in a row, he's been fine.
There's no reason for that. If our guy is injured, they need to make a rule. If you had an illegal targeting hit, and got kicked out of the game for it, you should have to sit out for at least as many games as that player is going to miss because you injured him. That's only fair. In fact, you should have to do a few more games more than what that guy's missing because of injury.
So what if that guy tears an ACL? Does the guy who perpetrated that have to sit out for a year? That's why they can never have that.
If it was a targeting. If it was targeting, I'm not saying like on a normal tackle.
Oh yeah, it's on targeting. That's the whole point. Oh man, yeah, that hit just, and the fact that he held on to that touchdown
Dang, I think the dog just cut one.
Dude, maybe he dropped one or she dropped one.
Oh,
Little
man.
Mr. Hanky in the house.
Howdy ho! Gee, y'all smell so flowery. All right, let's see what's going on here in the chat room. I understood the cards playing that way because they have nothing else. Oh, hold on. I can feature this. Here. How do I feature it? Thought I knew how to feature it. Don't I just click on it?
Well, apparently that guy just doesn't know how to play football in 2023 because just about everybody, even the old school people who hated some of the rules that have come around, like you can't hit the quarterback except for like this much of his entire body. So I guess we'll see how this goes. But man, he should have at least been suspended for a game after that.
What was that dude's new name? Do you remember?
I don't remember the guy in this one. I don't remember at all.
I don't either. Jackson. Something Jackson. Kareem
It was.
Jackson
It was
or
something
like
Jackson.
I think it was
Kareem Jackson who had. Is that the same guy? Kareem Jackson? Two hits, 2 solo hits in the game.
Yeah, he had some hits.
I guess that's him. Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, 2 total tackles and 2 solo tackles. And 1 illegal tackle. But guess what also, dude? Our dog, Logan Thomas, held on to that ball even though you decided you were going to try to kill him. He held on to it somehow, dude. Somehow. And that play also, we were already coming back, right? That play was like, oh, no. No. I think that got the entire team pumped up.
That was another like one of those game-changing plays that we had last Sunday because I think you're exactly right. It did pump the guys up. And you know, like because you and I are kind of old school, we'd be like, if we were watching a game in the 80s, there were hits like that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. Those guys were so much more tough.
Well, they also would just play with concussions back then, and now a lot of them have that CTE or whatever. And, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan Thomas, if that was the 80s, he would have been back in playing.
He might have been.
Unless he's puking somewhere, he was going to be in there playing. You
Yeah,
know he
really.
would have. He got up and ran off the field and was like, yeah.
He was putting 2 thumbs up, but he did not play today. Deron Payne also did not play today. Or practice today. Sorry, did not practice today.
Yeah.
Jatarvius Martin had a limited practice. He also got a concussion. And then Nick Gates and Curtis Samuel full-time practice. That's our injury report. And Brian Robinson Jr.
Speaking of that, there is a lot of people asking about Payne, but I could have sworn that we saw him come back into the game.
He did come back into the game. It could be one of those things where someone comes back in the game and finishes it, and they're just like, hey, I broke my ankle.
I hope not.
After they finish the game.
Hope not.
I have a feeling it's probably just let's give him a day off because, you know, he's kind of a veteran now.
He tweaked it.
And, you know, what we've said before, these defensive linemen, these offensive linemen are so heavy. When something in their leg, their ankle, or their knee, or a hip goes, I mean, there's so much weight above them. There's so much more weight than a lot of people that I know. So, you know, they probably told him today, just take today off. Just hang out with Logan Thomas, talk about concussions.
Yeah, I heard this on Al Galdi. I think he said that we haven't even really mentioned the play of our rookie. I'm going to call him rookie quarterback because this is his third game starting.
First away start.
First away start, and oh my gosh, let's just talk about that on a what is it, far out view of this whole thing. His first away start sold out 100%, 76,108 in attendance at Broncos Mile High Stadium. This dude comes in his first away game, goes down 21-3, and yet has the poise to be able to lead the team back and win this game. Like,
Dude,
it didn't phase him at all.
Lie.
This
no
dude,
lie.
He does not look like a rookie at all. Like, you're not watching his throws and being like, oh, well, except for that one that slipped out of his hand last week. You're not watching his throws and being like, oh, dude, what are you doing? The only thing is he needs to get rid of that ball sooner. There is a lot of stuff where you're just like, dude, come on. Like, I'm counting, like, when they hike the ball and you're just like, no, you got to get rid of it.
Yeah. You and I both were saying that on a play where he actually was a good idea that he held on to the ball for a long time, because you and I were both like, get rid of the ball. And he did. And threw that tight, like I don't even know what kind of pass it was, but it was like just over triple coverage right into Terry McLaurin's hands in the end zone. That was a veteran football pass. That's something we have not seen in Washington in quite some time.
That was a beautiful thing. And you know what else was beautiful in this game? My hat's off to Eric Bieniemy, because he's finally taught our team how to run screen passes that work.
Oh man.
They would
like
bait
to the
him
point
in
when
like
we were
you're
watching
supposed
and
to.
you're just like, you're just about to be like, throw the ball because you're about to get sacked. There's like two guys run the quarterback's face. He just goes, boop.
Yeah.
And you told me, because when we were watching the game, you told me, you were like, because in the past, like especially like Jay Gruden and especially Ron Rivera so far with the head coach up until this year, screen passes, terrible. And you said it's because no one ever believes that they're really going to be like another play and they're going to go, and have a screen pass. Like watching these plays last Sunday that Eric Bieniemy put out as screen passes. I mean, there was one where I really thought the quarterback was about to get sacked. I was like, throw the ball.
I thought it was a busted play. Like, I was fooled. I was fooled more than the defense, because I thought it was a busted play and it was like, oh, he's going to get creamed. And then they had the perfect screen set up. Yeah. The lineman didn't even move too fast, where, you wait too long and it's always like a legal dude downfield. Like, it's all in the timing with those. You got to let the defense come in far enough that you can get it over them, but before the linemen take off down the field and can't block anyone or get that penalty. But, oh my gosh, dude, he threw it. I think Al Galdi said that he hit like 10 different dudes in this game. I got to count this.
I think
one
on the receiving end, everyone in the game had at least 2 catches or more, except for Byron Pringle.
Who had one.
Who had one? Byron Pringle sighting.
Yeah. So every single player, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, let me bring it back up here. Right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. If you got a giant TV, you might be able to see this. Yeah, 10 different players. All of them, like you said, I don't know why I'm rehashing this, had at least 2 except Byron Pringle, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them had 3 or more.
It's pretty impressive.
For 299 yards.
It's just like watching the games and watching like our defense just get carved up on that one drive. I think their second drive, the defense gave up a touchdown in one play. It was like a one-play drive. And then suddenly out of the blue, everything just clicked.
Oh, he's saying it's a little small for YouTube. All right, well, watch YouTube on a giant projector, dude. Here. Let me see if I can help you here. Hold on.
Dude.
How's this? I'll just put it over my head. Does this help you? Put it over John's head. Put it right in the middle, and then I'll like lean this way. There.
Oh, wrong way.
Okay, yeah, it's like reversed. Okay, so here we go. 10 dudes. 10 dudes right there. Anyway, okay, so oh my gosh, when you get this and notice that both of our backs had Gibson and Robinson each had at least 2 catches.
Yeah.
Averaging for Gibson 14 yards on a reception and Robinson 21 yards.
Yeah,
So
and Antonio Gibson had that 36-yard like that play where you're just like, dang, that was Gibson.
yeah,
I
that
think
might
there
have
was
been
a
a
third down
screen.
play too.
That might have been a
It
screen.
was.
I don't
I
remember.
think it might have been that screen where you're just like, throw the ball.
But then we had 3 tight ends involved. Bates had that long one down the sideline. Remember that one?
Another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Great catch by Mr. Bates,
by the master.
by the master.
Let's talk about Brian Robinson. Because that dude is a bruiser.
Dude, you are totally correct. Every time he gets hit, he still gets like 2 or 3 yards after contact. Like every time.
I love me some Brian Robinson. That dude's good. He's good, and he can catch. He can catch.
Yeah, yeah.
That dude, would you want to be... All right, we've come back in 2 games, right? We've come back in 2 games. Would you want to be one of these defensive dudes in the 4th quarter, especially when it starts getting cold out there, knowing that this dude's running at you every play? I mean, this guy, he runs violent. He's
Especially
violent.
if he's got like Sadiq Charles and
Gates.
Nick Gates. Nick Gates just, if you see Nick Gates like walking down an alley in New York City and you go around a corner and you see Nick Gates, you're just like, oh crap.
Gates is like your new offensive line dog. Like, what is up with his like horse thing before every play where he shakes his mane,
shakes
like,
his head and everything. Like you see that with other linemen, especially centers on other teams that are doing that the last few years, but our guys haven't really done that. This guy knows what he's doing, and he's doing the moves. He got called for what was it? Hold on a run or
no? He got called for a false start as a
false
center.
start. And they showed it, and it looked like every other play it was. It was
and I asked you, I was like, is he allowed to move his head? And I think you said he's allowed to move it side to side, but not backwards. Is that correct?
You can't if you're a false start, if you're moving your head like this, and like usually a lot of times like a guard will look back to see it's time to hike, and he'll hit the thing. You'll see that a lot in college. He'll hit the center to hike it, things like that. But yeah, you could do that, but as long as you're not moving forward or backward.
Okay. Well, this dude wasn't like he was looking side to side to see if it needed to be hiked. He was shaking his head violently side to side before every play. And it looked weird.
Yeah, but he wasn't going forward or backwards.
And then we have to talk about this. The Gates butt.
The butt.
The butt play. Who was it that he sprung on that? Was it Gibson? Was it on Gibson's touchdown?
I don't even remember. I know not on a touchdown. Gibson didn't have a touchdown, did he?
Yeah, he did. Am I on crack?
Gibson had a touchdown in this game? I don't remember that.
Oh no, he didn't. It was on Brian Robinson's then.
It was on Brian Robinson's. That's what I thought. It was on Brian Robinson when he went to the end zone, and as he's like crossing the line, Nick Gates is like jumping up behind him, grabbing him. Like figure skating contestants, like a duo, and pulled him over the line. He was already going over the line, but you just like picked him up and like horizontally and got them over the line like with more power, I guess.
No, but on the butt
like,
play,
what are you doing? He's like giving him a big old like hug going, and then he butt-butted that guy. And that
butt play is where he had that little. He didn't want to get a block in the back, but to spring. I think it was Robinson. To spring him, he just like used his butt and like knocked this guy out of the way. And I watched it like 4 times. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. The Gates butt.
Funnier each time.
He totally butt butted him.
Come in.
This episode is called The Gates butt.
The Gates butt.
Oh my gosh. What a crazy game.
Butt.
Why did the defense suck so much in the first quarter? Can you put your finger
and then
on that?
Suddenly they got, you know what? My thing, one of the things that we talk about on here a lot is halftime adjustments. And a lot of coaches are really bad at that, Ron Rivera. But
there are
Eric
some really
Bieniemy,
good at it. Joe Gibbs.
Like Eric Bieniemy and Joe Gibbs. But like Eric Bieniemy was starting to get things working, and Jack Del Rio as well before the end of the first half. Like they were already figuring stuff out and going with that. And then they made more changes at halftime. who are these people? I'm not used to having coaches that are this smart in the NFL. It's crazy.
No, we're not used to having smart coaches that are like, hey, this isn't working. Let's change it. And we know who it's not. It's not Ron Rivera. In fact, during this game, I'm like, what does he even do? Like, what does he even do? Except make dumb calls. He makes dumb decisions like, hey, guys, let's try to kick this 59-yarder here and give them the ball on our side of the field when we're trying to come back. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? They're going to get the ball at midfield. And they did, with time left to come down and score. But I don't remember what happened.
But we were able to win the game. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff that Ron Rivera does all the time.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Well, dude, it's only a matter of time until Eric Bieniemy becomes the head coach. I've been saying that since we hired him.
I thought about this morning. Would you be surprised if Eric Bieniemy, at the end of this season, was promoted to head coach and Ron Rivera took on some kind of other role, like
president of football operations?
Yeah, like some kind of like mentor, front office type job, you know? I wouldn't be surprised.
I think there's going to be a number of guys. I think some of them have already been hired that are doing exactly that kind of thing, like former players. A couple of them are like pretty important players, or very important players in the history of the Washington Redskins Commanders thing. Really, yeah, right. And I don't know. That's right. We wanted to talk about Cheeseman. That almost came to my mind a couple of times talking about that, because Sly, he had 2 field goals that looked great, and he had 2 field goals that did not look great at all, like that 59-yarder that you were talking about. That thing could have gone 65 yards and gone through the uprights if it was anywhere near the uprights.
Yeah, so what happened? They're saying the first snap from Cheeseman was a bad snap, which I didn't see, but enough people have said it that I believe them.
Enough people that we brought in 5 long snappers this week and gave them a shot to see if they could supplant the 6th round pick that we have as a long snapper.
All of those guys, I'm assuming, were undrafted free agents.
Yeah, because that's where you normally get these guys.
But he admitted he was trying something new.
It's the point where Ron Rivera needs to be like, all right, kid, I don't expect to see any of this new crap. Put it on a back shelf and start messing with it in February. Yeah. You don't need that here. You can't be skipping the ball like you're skipping stones across like a lake. Get the ball in the air to Tressway's hands like you did last year.
We're gonna have to change. We're gonna have to change the name of our trophy, dude. We have the Cheeseman Trophy, and now it's going to be the Cut the Cheese Trophy. The Cut the Cheese Bowl.
But he's got a name that's funny, and it's a good name for a long snapper. Blah 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 blah. But long and short of it, if you can't do your job in the NFL, you're going to get cut. Cut.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Ian28. I just noticed is listening in Discord.
Oh, nice.
In fact, if you guys aren't in our Discord server, the address is tinyurl.com/HarryHF, and that will get you an invite to our exclusive and private Discord server, where if there's a Dallas fan, we can just kick them out. So
that's right. It's all Redskins,
feel free to come hang out in there. Like Ian28.
That's right.
X Factor 357's in there. Chris Comerton.
Tons of like Taylor Bud Light again. Firefly.
Yeah, it's weird that
Delicious Jams and Jellies, he pops up every now and then.
Yeah, he made it to level 1 today.
Yeah, nice.
X Factor 357, it's weird that he's in there, but his best friend Johnny Cassidy is over in YouTube at the same time. I don't quite understand that. Anyway, back to Cheeseman. So they brought in those 5 dudes, but apparently none of them supplanted him because he's not cut.
Right.
Was it like lighting a fire under you, dude? Like, maybe you should go back to your old way of snapping.
I wouldn't even say maybe. If I were the coach, I'm just like, shelve it. We'll see it again in February. I want you to do what you did last year.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see. I mean, you guys saw that one that skipped in the dirt. I'm sure you can look this one up online as well. But if you saw that one from the first, or what was it? Yeah, the first game, it like skipped in the ground. I mean, you can't do that. Where's the red snapper?
So he cost us at least 3 points, right? So
yeah,
if that was indeed the bad snap that made him miss the field goal,
we
would have been up by 5 at the end. And if we were up by 5 at the end, Russell Wilson's Hail Mary would have mattered not.
Hopefully we'll never, ever, ever see such a weird play as that again.
Wait, why did I say 5?
I
meant
that in the last 23 years when that happens.
How many would we
in
have been up by?
The last 23 years when that would happen, we probably would have lost that game, but we didn't.
We would have been up by 11.
Future head coach, Eric Bieniemy.
11.
11.
We would have been up by 11.
Goes to 11.
At the end. We would have been up by 11 at the end instead of 8. And if he would have made both of those, 11. We would have been up by 2 scores at the end, 14. If you think about that, we would have been up at 41 to what would they have had before they made that touchdown at the end? 27. We would have been up 41-27. And what was the score of Super Bowl 22?
42 to 10.
42 to 10. Okay. This was Super Bowl 42.2.
It really was, because I was just like, dude, we're sucking, man. But I mean, it's only the first quarter if we can get it together, and then we just kept giving up touchdowns.
I know, but it was weird because we sucked so bad, and then at the end of the first half, I'm like, how are we only losing by 7 points? We were getting destroyed.
I was like, dude, if we hit this field goal, it'll be 21-14 at the half. We're going to be right in this.
I know. And then Deron Payne took over.
And then Deron Payne just took it over from there.
It was beautiful to see. So beautiful. What else is on that itinerary, which I'm afraid to try to actually switch and see? It might mess up the Discord room.
Went over the sick stuff. We talked about all the dudes in the game, all the problems. Most of the problems, they pretty much went away during the game as it went on. It's just like, I don't know. We've got to figure out how to start the game strongly. And that's been a problem pretty much during Ron Rivera's tenure. Maybe he needs to fire him up more. I don't know. Maybe they need to let Eric Bieniemy fire him up. I know he can do that.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky to get through these first 2 weeks with victories, I got to say, because you can't play that bad to start the games and still win against most of these teams. Like, we got the Bills coming in. I don't want to talk about the Bills yet because I got more to talk about in this game. But we can't do that. One guy I want to talk about is Emmanuel Forbes.
Oh, yeah.
He got burnt early.
The ball, man. He did.
But then he came back and got that pick that I thought was an incompletion. But
dude, that ball was really 50-50. Was it a catch? Was it incomplete?
It was incomplete. Any playground in the United States, that would have been called incomplete.
And in the last 23 years, the last 23 years, that kind of decision would have gone against us every time because the league just wanted to screw us over with Dan Snyder in charge so many times and all the crazy people we've had in charge and everything, blah, blah, blah. But you know who else the National Football League did not like? Sean Payton.
And
they do not like Sean Payton at all.
And they don't have a beef with us anymore since Dan Snyder's gone.
They don't have a beef. We don't have the name that some people thought was whatever. And we don't have Dan Snyder's gone. So now it's going to be like the Bears and I guess the Browns. And
the Broncos.
And
for their guy injuring everyone.
They do not like Sean Payton. I mean, don't forget, if those of you who don't know, I mean, he was the whole like head coach during Bountygate when Triple G Williams got suspended for like life. And
now it's like Bountygate 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Starring Kareem Jackson.
And that dude White that used to play for the Eagles.
I don't know who he is.
He was in the first game.
White?
That's the he was the dude from the first game for the Cardinals, but he used to be on the Eagles. He was the guy that had that big hit on Sam Howell.
Anyway,
Cardinals.
Let's talk a little more about that catch. I don't think he caught it, but it was a huge play that we needed to have. Very huge.
Yeah. As much as we like to joke Sean Payton for getting joked now or having problems with the league now instead of us, we needed that kind of a turnover. Like when you think of plays that really turned the game, that play of Jamma Davis, of Logan Thomas catching that touchdown, even though he got wrecked, he still held on, and Forbes doing this.
Yeah. And dude, we won the turnover battle. Like, we brought Forbes in to get turnovers, and him and Jamma Davis went and got the ball for us twice.
Man, if Jamma Davis can start is moving enough, is got enough stuff going on in his head, the processes are moving fast enough, and he can just use his speed to run towards the ball. I mean, he could end up being a pretty good first-round pick in the long run. I'm not getting ahead of myself yet. I'm not saying he is, but
I've never seen him move that fast.
Exactly.
I mean, I thought Russell Wilson was getting the corner on that first one, not the fumble, but that other one where he got it. I thought he was getting it, and then all of a sudden, Jamma Davis was like, "Well, I know we've already talked about it, but I still can't believe it. And things are looking up, and I don't know who's the other guy, Barton. I don't remember him really doing anything great in this game. Is he the new Jamma Davis? Like, what did he do?
Did he pick up a fumble?
He did pick up the fumble that Jamma Davis caused.
Yeah.
So he was in the right place at the right time. Okay, I'll give him that. But I don't remember him really being that much of a how do I say? But
he's not David Mayo.
Let's see. What did he? I'm trying to look for his stats here. Cody Barton.
He had 10.
He had 10 sacks, and I'm like, he didn't do anything, and he had 10 tackles.
10 tackles.
That just goes to show that my what's it called? When I'm watching the game, what I am seeing in the game doesn't necessarily reflect the stat line. My point of view. So no, he had 10. He's sitting here like listening to the podcast, like, "What are you talking about, dude? I had 10 tackles in that game." Josh would come on here, like when he was on the podcast, when he didn't really watch the game, and he said he did, and he'd just look at the stat line and be like, "Well, I'm giving my game ball to Cody Barton."
And you and I would be like, "What?"
Dude, he had 10 tackles.
10 tackles.
Yeah, but only 4 of them were solo, so it could have been like, he piled on a few times.
I saw him in a number of hits and afterwards he was just like, yeah, and like slapping hands, and, arms, doing the arm thing, do whatever they do, when like dudes like hit their arms together because they're strong and stuff and things like that. So I saw him he seemed to be around. But I mean, the whole second half of the game, most of our defense really seemed to be around the ball and doing a great job until that last play.
Another guy we didn't really talk too much about is Sweat. Really, I mean, we talked about him on the sandwich, but he had an awesome game.
He's still in the lead for me for which defensive end we're going to re-sign.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Although it's turning into a competition with Young towards the end of that game.
Yeah, it was. Did you see their face after they sandwiched?
They're going to have a Josh Allen sandwich this week.
They were looking at each other like, dude, we got a sandwich. Woo! Like talking to each other. They were all like, yeah,
dude.
This is what we've been talking about like 2 years ago. How many sacks are we going to get? Do you guys remember that? How many sacks can they break the record?
And then they got like 3 for the year. They got more in this game than they did that whole year. Yeah. He's not David Mayo. Did David Mayo even play? He's not on the defensive stat line.
Oh yeah, I thought he might be on special teams, but I don't.
Broadway's
Excuse me.
on there.
I do not remember him doing that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If we could get a full game out of this defense and offense,
Oh man.
we're going to have a full game this week. Is there anyone you want to talk about before we go in and talk about the upcoming battle?
No, let's go. Let's talk about the Bills a little bit. The Buffalo Bills. Second week in a row, we're facing a team that we defeated in the Super Bowl.
Yep. This is going to be Super Bowl 26.2.
Well, hopefully that means that we're going to have a humongous lead, and then at the end, we're going to let them score a couple touchdowns, but we don't care because we know they can't come back.
Because we got David Mayo and people in like that at the end.
Yeah, but the score will flatter them. But all in all, the Redskins, or sorry, the Commanders will really just destroy them just to get just like the first time.
This is going to be an interesting game, dude. And
do you think the running back will lose his helmet?
He won't know where it is coming into the game. But I mean, I kind of heard this conversation on Al Galdi, so I'm not going to take credit for it. And he had Ben Standig on there, who I like. I think he's a smart dude.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, like, Ben Standig was like, well, this game is kind of going to give you a feel for where the team is. Like the first game against the Cardinals, like, people thought we should have beat them because they were trying to tank. But then they turned around and, like, were dominating the Giants for most of the game. And
they lost that one, too.
So we don't know how we stand with that team as a measuring stick. And then the Broncos are 0-2. And, in both games, apparently, they looked pretty good in the first half and then just sucked in the second half. So, so we don't really know with that. But the Bills are, like, a team that people are still picking to go to the Super Bowl this year or get deep in the playoffs. And apparently they have a really good defense. And I think it's going to be, if we can beat them, dude, all the pundits are going to be on the bandwagon. I guarantee you 100% of the pundits are going to be on the bandwagon.
This is a big game. Like you guys beat the Cardinals, you guys and the Broncos. That's cool.
You beat the Bills
coming this weekend. The Bills were in the quote unquote Final Four of the NFL last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have been like 2 or 3 years in a row. They've got some good people on there. They have good people on offense. They have good people on defense. This is going to be a measuring stick. We're going to see exactly how well we do in this game, which is at 1:00, by the way, on Sunday on CBS.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, if the defense can step it up like they did in the second half last week, well, and the offense for that matter, I mean, we got a chance.
Now, this game is in Washington.
Now, remember the Bills lost to the Jets, too, without Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean,
what is that? Oh, well, that's because the Jets have a good defense, too. That's why.
Well, I'm just saying, the Jets have a good defense. I'll put our defense up there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Let's see what happens.
This game is at home on Sunday. Yeah. Now, today I informed Aaron that here in Southeast Virginia, we're having a tropical storm forming off the coast of the Carolinas and Georgia. So it's very possible we could have just a crap ton of rain coming through the area by Sunday or before Sunday, and it may be a slugfest or slosh fest out there, like running back 3 yards in a cloud of mud. Okay.
The game's sold out again, by the way. Speaking of, we need to get our Giants tickets.
We need to get our tickets for the Giants.
Yeah, that game's sold out, which is awesome to see. Again.
It's the way it should be.
Yeah. So people are going to be pumped. All these teams are used to us coming in all docile, and having docile fans, and like at least the fans are doing their part. The team looks like it's shaping up. Oh my gosh, it is a new era. It's a new era, dude.
It's all the way around, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do against this team, against this Bills team.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. But
again, it could be just like a slosh fest.
It could be
like a bunch of mud. So we'll see. But I mean, Aaron, you and I both, we love football, like slosh fest football. If the team is good and they know how to run the ball, it's very nice. It's like the entire 1980s.
We need to go to our games and kicks.
All right.
Unless you have something else you want to talk about before we do that.
No, I do not have anything else.
Okay. So we won, so that means we do our kicks first, right?
Yes, sir.
It's like the opposite type thing. All right.
It was really refreshing to see 7 sacks, though. I can't remember the last time we had more than 2 or 3.
Will, where are you?
Where is Will?
Where is Will?
All right.
We're going to be up there for the Giants game.
Yeah, we're going to be up there. Hopefully some of you guys will be up there for the Giants game too.
Yeah, we had a couple people that we got to meet up with last year. Hopefully we'll get a couple
Cole
more.
CC. We met up with Cole CC. That was fun.
And his dad.
And his dad. Or Cole CC's dad and his son. All right, I'm looking for the sound effect.
Yeah, I would love to see, like X Factor saying, I would love to see B-Rob. And the only thing I would worry about is that our offensive line may not be as good against their defense being able to run the ball, but they might be. They very well might be. I mean, dude, I'm a big Sadiq Charles and Nick Gates are like my 2 favorite linemen. Those seem to be the guys to run behind.
Dude, I honestly don't see the buttons. Oh, there it is.
And now,
oh, that's the wrong button.
An ever-elusive Game Ball Award.
Well, we're doing the game balls first. Like there was no label on my little thing here.
On your what is that called?
My little Stream Deck thing. And why is it still there? Do I have to hit it again?
And now, ever-elusive Game Ball Award.
How do I get
Game ball?
How do I get? Oh, there! It worked that time. That was weird. So it's not showing anything. I hit the button and then it said Game Ball on the little screen, and then it played and stayed there. And then I hit it again and it played again and went away. So I'm guessing the one next to it that's also blank is probably the kicking the balls button. But anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and do the game ball, and I'll let you go first.
Do you want to go first on this one?
I'll go first if you want me to. I could pick like 100 dudes.
Exactly. Yeah. I want you to go first because I don't want to pick the guy I think you might pick.
Well, then I'm taking Deron Payne.
Oh yeah.
Although there was another dude I wanted to pick because we picked on him an awful lot, but I'm taking Deron Payne because he literally came in there at the beginning of the 3rd quarter and just took over and was like, no,
not at all.
And he's a man of few words, so that's probably all he said was no. And he always has that like little smile, like no.
He has that little smile, like when no one's looking, he'll give you a punch, like in the shoulder. Be like punk,
and you'll be like,
"Ow, man, stop!"
Yeah, so anyway, dude was awesome.
Yeah,
5 tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss. What can I say? I love me some Deron Payne. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, there are a lot of people to give our game balls to, but mine for this week is got to be Brian Robinson Jr. That was a spectacular performance. He didn't break 100 yards, but he got 87 yards on just 18 carries, 2 touchdowns, including the love fest hug from Nick Gates.
Yep.
I mean,
technically he did break 100 yards because he had 46 yards. Wait, he had 42 yards receiving to go along with it.
That's true. That is very true. So he has over 100 yards from scrimmage.
Yep.
So for me, for Brian Robinson, I mean, considering at this time last year, I don't think he was even playing like the first 3 games because he was shot. And here he is just wrecking people at Mile High Stadium, probably the best home field advantage there is. You're a mile up. It's hard to get your wind if you're not used to it. And he just got stronger as the game went on. And we have not had a running back that does that very often in the past, in the recent past. It's really nice to see that. And I hope he continues to get better.
You know what else was nice to see?
It was really refreshing to see 7 sacks. So I can't remember the last time we had more than 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Okay, coming in also game balls from the peanut galleries. Let's see what we got here. X Factor 357 game balls go to B-Rob, and the special teams guy that got the onside kick, which I think was Rodriguez, wasn't it?
I think it was the guy who caught it. Yeah.
Okay, good ones. And DC Skins over in YouTube is giving his to Hal for taking the shot to hit Terry in the end zone between those 3 dudes and no turnovers.
That was a spectacular throw.
DJ Cool 4 also over in the YouTube room is giving his to Hal for spreading the ball around, like we said, to 10 different dudes, and 9 of them had more than 1 catch each. So good ones. Anyone else giving their game ball before we move on to the kicks? I want to give a shout out to Jamin Davis though, because that's the best game I've seen him play in, and he almost got my game ball. So
if he continues to improve, I think he will start getting game balls. And I'll be very, very happy with that, because, I mean, that's one of those picks where you're just like, Ron, what are you doing? And I know we only had like 1 real year of starting in Kentucky.
Yeah. That's what Ron was saying this week.
Yeah, I bet he was. We only had 1 year starting at Kentucky, you know?
What do you even
do? So, like, usually I call timeouts at wrong times during the 2-minute warnings.
Guys.
Guys. That's what it is every time he comes on.
Go. 59-yard, go.
Every time he's out there talking, it's just like, I like with most coaches in most sports, I don't listen to the coach unless they're like Jay Gruden was actually a good coach to listen to because he was actually entertaining. Most people like Ron Rivera is just like, it's just crap from whatever it is.
Yep. Or they're just trying not to say something that they don't want you to know.
Yeah.
But answer the question
really.
at the same time. Oh, Ian 28's coming in with his.
Yeah, shout out to Cody Barton. I was thinking the same thing. Like some people, I've noticed online this week that a couple of people were talking about like, oh man, we really miss a Cole Holcomb and his hair and stuff on the team. And I was just like, do what?
Got Nick Gates' hair.
We got Nick Gates' hair. It's spectacular hair. But I mean, Cody Barton, I think is at least as good as Cole Holcomb. So yeah.
Okay, and Josh is giving his game ball to. Doesn't matter. He didn't tell me.
Anybody.
All right.
He can give his game ball to one of the best names I've heard in the NFL this year. Lil Jordan Humphrey. On the Broncos. It's Lil Lil Jordan. Lil Jordan Humphrey.
He had 1 reception for 4 yards.
Is that really his name? I mean, that's kind of cool if that's their like first name. And they're actually putting it up there. So no one's going to give like a game ball award to Samaje Perine? Come on.
X Factor already gave a game ball, but apparently he's throwing another one out to Logan
Jerry
Thomas.
Jeudy.
Obviously for hanging on to that ball after getting his block knocked off.
That's a great one. That's a fantastic one.
Yeah, he gets the grit award. Oh, Logan Thomas is Josh's kick for getting injured.
And for those who don't remember, he gave Sean Taylor a kick because he got killed.
Actually, he gave him a kick for getting shot. He didn't know at the time that he died.
Oh, right, my bad.
In his defense. but he still gave
My
him
bad.
a kick for getting
Still pretty
shot.
bad.
Someone eventually is going to go back and find that sound clip where Josh gave it to him.
We were just like, dude,
That's
he's
deep in the
dead.
That's deep in the archive.
Yeah.
Oh, now the
yeah.
refs are getting a game. All right, you guys are getting out of control with these game balls. Okay. So if this button works, we're gonna go into the
Settle
kicks.
down, preacher.
And if this button works, we're gonna go into the kicks.
It's time for this week's Kicking the Balls Award.
This week's Kicking the Balls Award, just like every week, is brought to you by our friends at Ridapoo. For all the doo-doo that you do, there's Ridapoo. You guys are just like Beavis and Butthead. 1 star.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank you
that
very
1
much.
star, sir.
Do you want me to go? Should I go first?
You should go.
My kicking balls. There's a couple people that it could have gone towards. Could have gone towards Chase Young, but he actually ended up coming good during the game, so good for him.
He made up for himself.
But my kick of the balls goes to the entire secondary of our defense, who just stood there and let them catch a Hail Mary in the end zone when there were 4 of you in front of him. 4!
You hit it backwards instead of
There were
down.
4 of you in front of him, and you still let him catch the ball. God!
Yeah, because Russell Wilson threw that to like the 3 or 4 yard line, and it didn't get caught
Yes!
until it was like 3 or 4 yards back in the end zone.
That was such a Division II college play. Except that ball would have been thrown like 35 yards because those guys usually can't throw that far. But
Yeah.
that kind of thing with where it's yakety sacks in the end zone. It was crazy. So yeah, all you guys that just went whoop and just put it in that guy's basically in his left arm.
Yeah,
You guys get my
padded their
Seriously.
stats. Padded Russell Wilson's stats with 50 extra passing yards.
It's because some of those guys are trying to catch the ball instead of just knock the ball down. Knock the ball down.
You don't need to
Don't
catch
try
it.
to catch it. Knock it down.
Knock it down. Karate chop it down. Like a volleyball spike. That's what you do. All right. That was a good one. And along those lines, you know how I was thinking about giving mine to Chase Young, but I'm going to give mine. And I've never given this guy a Kick in the Balls award before. Derek Forrest.
Whoa.
For dropping an interception that was right into his hands.
It hit you in the hand.
It hit you right in the hands, dude. Right in the
Well,
hands.
If he was good at receiving the ball, he would be playing wide receiver instead of secondary safety.
But it was in his hands.
I know.
Anyway, that's mine. All right, guys, give your kicks. You got 5 seconds to give them. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, no one wants to give any kicks. So, okay.
We did win the game, so
I know, but it wasn't perfect by any means. It was a crazy
that is
game.
very true.
It was fun to watch. That Hail Mary was not fun to watch.
But we didn't lose. We didn't lose because it's a new era.
Speaking of, shout out to St. Juice for knocking down the 2-point conversion. All right, here we go. We got some kicks. X
That
Factor.
is true.
X Factor is giving his kick to the NFL office for not giving the... I don't even know what that means. Oh, the ejected player...
Yeah.
Big penalty and more games setting at home.
They should have suspended him for at least a game
Yeah, you're right.
for having hits like that 2 games in a row.
Mm-hmm. And DJ Cool 4 is giving his Kick in the Balls award for the week to everyone that touched the ball on the Hail Mary.
God! Oh! I'm so glad we won, despite that.
Our friend
Big Nut just says cheese man.
Our friend Big Nut from the state of Ohio, where I spent some time last week. I had to go to Columbus for a few days. Is giving us the cheese man. So Big Nut from Ohio, cheese man. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? All right, dudes. Well, I think we're going to round this thing out.
Yes, sir.
Like to give a shout out to everyone that joined us in both the now combined, unified peanut galleries, which are in the YouTube live room and in our Discord room. And if you haven't joined our Discord room, that link again for the invite is tinyurl.com/HarryHF. That's HARRY. HF.
HF. Yes, sir.
Give us a call on the hog line if you're so inclined.
Yeah.
Number is 202-735-1788.
Did we check it this week?
Yeah, we didn't get anything this week.
Oh,
You can send us
next week.
a good old-fashioned email about anything that strikes your fancy at hhfpodcast@gmail.com.
Big Nut put Brutus what do they call those things?
Buckeye?
Those nuts that they have?
Buckeyes.
Buckeyes, yeah. I like
Dude,
the chocolate Buckeyes.
Those things are good
nice.
with the peanut butter in the middle that you get at Cracker Barrel.
Oh man, yeah, those are good. I've known some people from Ohio that can make those, and they're tasty.
Yeah, those are great. Let's see. What else do we need to talk about before we round this thing out? I'm pumped. I want to give a shout out to everyone that's going to the games and filling up the stands.
Yeah, cheering on the team. It's awesome. It's gotta be just completely so much better.
Yeah, I can't wait till we're there in November. Anyway,
November.
hail to Redskins football team, Commanders, and if you see a Cowboys fan,
You know what to do. Joker!